Good afternoon, good evening. This is Abdullah Zarour. I'm a solution engineer on MySQL team. Today, we will talk about how to import data from Google Cloud, MySQL version to MySQL HeatWave. And just to remind you that we already have a series of practical recording sessions, and this is a continuous series of learning how to import data from Google Cloud to MySQL HeatWave. If you miss or if you don't attend the previous one, which we talk about the best practice, the connectivity, VPN from different location to the MySQL replication. So all these are recorded, are available, so you can also attend them if you haven't yet. Now, today there are prerequisite tools that you need to have um, so that you can use them to help you to migrate to the MySQL HeatWave system. So first tool is MySQL shell, then we have the Oracle CLI configuration file, and also the user who have the privileges to access the resources in Oracle Cloud infrastructure. Today, I want to make the session more practical with more live demo. Uh, so before we start, let me tell you that generally there are two types of migrating the data. Either you do it through streaming the data, or you do it through one-time migrations. So I'm not covering the online streaming migrations because it's already have in the previous section. So I will focus on one-time migration. So you have a source of data and you want to move them on the MySQL part. In streaming data on the first scenario, we have something, it's inbound replication. You have a data in Cloud SQL, either it's version 8 or version 5.7, you can still use it to migrate it on a streaming way. You take the data, then you dump it and you enable the replication. Once data is fully synced, you can immediately switch your application to the OCI MySQL HeatWave. So the focus today is the shell. I will use the shell in all my examples. Uh, and just to refresh you that before you do the migrations, we highly recommend it to use our official tool to help you to easily validate and make sure that the data is compatible with the MySQL HeatWave system. Why we are saying that? Because Cloud SQL, MySQL version, they have a different version. They have version 8, which is running a 26 version, and they have 5.7 with a 337. Then we have 5.6. So in order to go with this migration path, we have the MySQL shell with the utility upgrade check. Then we consider also the database size. So if you have a big database size, we do recommend it to have them in chunking them with the MySQL shell tool. Of course, if you want to have secure connection, you can have it in your own way. You can have VPN, you can have open VPN software installed, and you connect both a cloud. We have a lot of uh, materials and links available how to connect OCI cloud with the Google Cloud, so that if you want to have these secure connections. In my demo, I'm using the public endpoint for Cloud SQL to connect to my database HeatWave system. Now, we also have recently add the preview release of the MySQL shell for VC Code. So it's a fully integration tool with the MySQL and OCI infrastructure. So let's move forward. What today I want to achieve and how I'm going to achieve the migrations. So this is the cloud infrastructure in OCI. So we have the region. You can select your own region. I'm selecting my Middle East region. I'm based in Middle East, so I'm using my region there. And we have availability, which is just like a local data center. Then we have the full domain. It's like a grouping and redundant of your hardware. So I I have a database which is called MySQL HeatWave. Then I have the server, which I will use it as a jump server, as a batching service where I will connect to the public endpoint in the Google Cloud database and import this data to my object storage on the OCI. So the situation will be like that. First, we will connect using MySQL shell tool. Then from there, we will reach the database, the Cloud SQL, and we dump data back to the object storage. Then we restore the data to the MySQL HeatWave system. So this is how we will go and do the migrations from the Cloud SQL to the MySQL HeatWave system. And then we connect from shell to the HeatWave database so that we can verify the migration steps. Just to remind you, we have three kind of services for HeatWave. We have the standalone, we have the HA, and also we have the HeatWave system for online analytics, no ETL, built-in machine learning, and most important, the version that we have in OCI, it's always with the latest security fix and with the latest features. So we are always up to date from security point of view. Now, how to onboard the data? There are two let's say, way to onboard the data. The first is to prepare your setup. You create machine. This machine can be in either in Google Cloud or in OCI. I usually use the OCI because we offer a free compute service. You can use it just to do the migration for you. And I use the latest shell tool so that I will always have the latest functionality. I will create something is called a bucket and the object storage, which I will use it to store my data. Then I create the config file, which is the authentication file from object storage to the MySQL to dump the data. And then I will run the migrations, the real migrations by checking the source. Is it ready to upgrade? Is it okay to do with these recommendations? Then I will verify my applications. Now, this is how you do it. So I will stop here and let's do this in a practical way. So let me just bring my screen. So, uh, okay, where is my cloud? Okay, so this is our cloud, OCI cloud. This is our menu. So the first step we said you need to create a compute. Let me just do a quick. So if you want to create a compute, you can choose which compute you want. The one I told you, you can go here and choose the shape that you want. And this is where you are eligible for free to use this Ampere very powerful compute machine. Once you create it, the next step is to create the storage, which we call it bucket. In this bucket, we will store our data. And the most important is you can have this one here. I create a folder, very easy. Just you create you name it as you want, and you can just add name you prefer for your bucket. So I have this GCP migrations, and I will create, let's say, a new one. If I want to create it like this one, so this is a demo, and just create. That's it. So now we create these are the steps how to prepare yourself. And the DB systems, we have it here. So this is the DB systems. So before you create the DB system, there is some validations, like you need to prepare your network, then you need to create the users, groups, permissions, then you need to allow this group what to access for your data. Then you choose the HeatWave system, and we fill all the requirement very easy. Because of the time limit, I already have one is up and running on my system. It's called HeatWave. This is the one which I will use it on my demo. I will access it through the compute servers through the OCI machine. So that's it. So let me move now to this is where I mentioned to you, practically, you just need to create a GCP migrations, or you can choose any bucket you want. This is your create a bucket on the OCI. This is the OCI configuration file. After you create a public key and a private key to access the OCI, then I create the APIs keys, which most importantly is this file, because you want to access the files, you want to access the resources in OCI, so you need to authenticate through the API keys. So you just either you download or you upload your public key, private key to get these informations. Now, this is optionally. I already grew this. It's very easy. You choose the HeatWave and you just create compartment, name, description, and so on. Now let's focus on this part. Let's run the migrations from end to end and how we do that. Let me bring this here. So this is my machine. I have MySQL shell. If you are not familiar with MySQL shell is a new attractive interactive mood tool, which is offered by MySQL team. It's a free tool. You can download it from MySQL site, and it's offer you multiple language support. So I can shift to the MySQL mode. I can shift to the Python mode. Now, the first step is to connect to the source. Where is your source? Where is your data? So in my case, I'm connecting to the source system. We just shift back, connect, root. This is the public endpoint for the instance. And now you can see that the server is Google Cloud, which I am connecting now to it. And the first step I always recommended, if you are running an older version, because in MySQL HeatWave, we have the latest version, is to run the utility to help you to identify if there is any blocking item or any warning message that you need to fix before you move to the HeatWave system. So let's do that. Utility auto completion. In auto completion, you will have check for upgrade. You will have dump schema. You will have dump tables, export, import. So it's a full package with the full tools that to help you identify your any compatibility issue and easy to migrate to the HeatWave system, because we optimize the tool to be compatible with the MySQL HeatWave service. So the first step is I will do check for upgrade. I have few databases there, so I'm just checking for upgrade. We'll just wait for minutes before we move on. Then I will explain the output. So you can see that as long as you have a zero errors, so you are fine. You might have warning, but still it's compatible. And you might have noticed that there is 9 numbers. And when you get back to this list, we can say what is warning, yeah, because this older version, we are today using the new UTF-MB4 in MySQL version 8, which add more support for any code, especially for new emojis, and also for performance, it's more better. So that's why we recommended to upgrade to the version 8. If we move further, you can see there are old obsolete systems which are created by Cloud SQL, which we don't have them in our MySQL DB systems. Like Cloud SQL, they are specific for their versions. Then we can check that, remove system variables, and we go further. This is the authentication plugin, because in MySQL version 8 HeatWave, we are running a new plugin authentication. So that's it's important also. You This is also compatible. You can either run the native if you want to go with, or you can uh, uh, upgrade to the using the latest authentication method by upgrading your connector, upgrading your application if you are using older version of PHP or Java connector, or um, uh, this is the most important is to have the latest connector that support the authentication plugin. So now we are fine. What we need to do is to dump the data to the object storage, and you can dump the data locally in your system, or let's say on on the object storage. So I will go with the dumping data on the object storage. So let me do that in a very quick way. Okay, let me just have my sorry, my mistake. Okay, so where is my commands? Okay. Okay, so we have the first one. Let me first do in local dump. So I will do two kind of the dump. So we have two uh, load dump. This is the load dump. I need to dump the data. So I'll use dump instance. Okay. I'm using dump instance locally on my local machine. So in this case, you can see that dump instance, this is the utility which support to dump the data, and this is the local path on my machine, and these are the users faults, because there are few users which we don't support them. You can migrate them later, or you can use especially for users who are invalid users without password. So I don't want to have the command it's failing. Then we have the compatibility. We all support InnoDB engine, and we do some restrict some grant permissions. So we fix all these at runtime. So now the data is is already dumped on the local machine. So if I go to my local machine here, cd, if I do just the list, you can see that the files are already here. All the files are already there, which is my MySQL Word. So I just need confirm here. Let me just confirm back here. Okay, so this is my source, show databases. So we talk about this database Word, which I'm trying to migrate. Show tables. These are the tables I want to migrate, and we can confirm that we are sitting on the other one. Select version. Where, okay. So now let's connect to our system, to our HeatWave system by logging to other machines and connect locally. And let me just connect MDS, MySQL HeatWave, and the IP address of my machine. Okay. Is it this? And the port number. Okay, so let's confirm that we are running on my machine version. So you can see that this is our version on the Oracle Cloud, and this is the version which is running on the cloud. Now the data is already there. So let us just verify if I have the same database before so that I can just clean it. Show databases. Okay, let's drop this database. So we imported database Word drop. So now we can easily import the data. So let's bring the command again. So we talk now, bring the data back locally. So we go here and we just do dump. So in this case, you can see the most important is ignore version, because dump was produced from older version, which is the Google Cloud version. And the ignore version is just to enable to load the data. How to verify? Use MySQL Word, show tables. And if you just say select all from city, limit 10. Okay, so we have these cities. We can go there and do the same here. Word, it's already selected. So the same data, we have it now in OCI. So this is how, if you want to dump the data locally to your system, I will do the other way, which you can dump it on the object storage, which is sometimes when you have huge data and you have large data set, which you don't have space left on your machine, so you can dump it there in also in a secure way as well. And all data will be always will be encrypted when you have it on the object storage. So let's do this again in different way. So first, let me connect again here. And here I will just drop the database Word so I can restore it back again. By the way, you can change the database name and during the restore. That's not the issue, but just because of the time. Okay, so I have my dump instance to object storage. We said there's a demo, right? Type. What is the difference between this and that? Okay, so let's dump it on the bucket. Demo. Okay. The difference is, let me just, okay, I just stop this one because I want to show you something here is important. Is this one, the OCI config file, the one which I told you need to have it and build it so that you can uh, authenticate your machine with the object storage. So let us run it again. So now we are dumping the data to our object storage. And where I want to verify these important messages. So you can see that check for compatibility with the database services, our services, detect release. You can check for potential upgrade. We did that. These users not have the password. These are the source data, which we are fixing during the dumping the data. Now, how to verify that your data is there? We go back to our object storage. And I will just go to my demo, and you can see that all your data on this one. I think we put it on the other one. Okay. Uh, yes. Where is my demo file? Okay. Migrations. Yes, that's it. This is the one which I use to dump my data. If you open it, you will see your all files are here. So let's go back here and do the final dump and to refresh, show databases. So we don't have the dump. So in this case, we just need to say dump the data again, and you can run, by the way, your dump in a dry mode if you want. So it's just different way of dumping the data. Just do this. And we'll go again. Perfect. SQL mode, show databases, and use Word, show tables, and this is it. City, country. By using two methods, we can either dump it locally or on the object storage. Now, moving forward, explaining theoretically, what's the important here is this one, the dump instance, which need to be configured so that you can access the object storage with the bucket name, with the namespace, with the OCIDMs, OCI MDS means we need to be true so that we are checking and validating the system. Then we go further and we do the run the migration, what we did right now. And then we validate our database. This is how you run the data. Now, just to continue the series of learning, also we are having more sessions. This is the last two sessions in our technical series. You can register them with them so that you can attend them with the LAMP stack, with the enable HeatWave for existing workload. And these are the resources where you can also verify, and also you can jump in and use them to, especially in the Oracle Architect Center for MySQL HeatWave. We have plenty of way of deployment MySQL HeatWave. And this is how to connect with us. So we are mysql.com, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and we are also advertising our Oracle Cloud World. So if you are interested to be in Las Vegas, you can have this link and you can see more details about the summit. And Thank you so much for joining today, and I hope it was uh, helpful to you how to migrate your data from Google Cloud to MySQL HeatWave. And this is my contacts. You can reach me anytime for any private sessions if you prefer. Thank you so much.